Someone is brave with you because you made love feel safe. That sentence holds a quiet kind of power, the kind that doesn't announce itself but changes the way a heart breathes. It speaks of a space created not by perfection, not by grand gestures, but by consistency, gentleness, and truth. When someone becomes brave around you, it means they have learned, slowly, carefully, that they will not be punished for being real. They have sensed, perhaps without words, that their fears will not be mocked, their tenderness will not be used against them, and their mistakes will not be held like weapons. Safety in love is not loud. It is a steady presence that whispers, "You can be here as you are." Bravery in love is often misunderstood. People think it looks like bold declarations or fearless vulnerability poured out all at once. But real bravery is quieter and far more fragile. It is the courage to admit confusion. It is the willingness to say, "I don't know how to do this perfectly." It is the act of staying open even after being hurt before. When someone offers you that kind of bravery, they are handing you something sacred. They are trusting you with the parts of themselves that learn to hide for survival. They are saying, without saying it, that you have proven yourself to be a safe place to land. You made love feel safe not by promising that nothing would ever hurt, but by showing that hurt would be met with care. You listened without rushing to fix. You stayed when it would have been easier to disappear. You learned the difference between being right and being kind, and you chose kindness more often than not. Safety is built in moments that seem small at the time, a pause before reacting, a soft answer to a hard truth, a willingness to apologize without defending your ego. These moments stack quietly, creating a foundation strong enough for someone else to stand on. When someone feels safe with you, they begin to breathe differently. Their shoulders drop. Their words come out less rehearsed. They stop scanning your face for signs of danger. They laugh more freely, cry more honestly, and rest more deeply. This is not because you removed all uncertainty from their life, but because you showed them that uncertainty could be shared. Love becomes less about performance and more about presence. In that presence, bravery grows like a muscle finally allowed to move without pain. It takes time to make love feel safe. Trust does not bloom on demand. It grows through repetition, through showing up again and again in alignment with your words. Anyone can say they care. Few are willing to demonstrate it when it costs them something: pride, comfort, control. You demonstrated it. You proved that their emotions were not inconveniences, that their boundaries were not obstacles, that their past did not disqualify them from tenderness. In doing so, you rewrote rules they may have learned long ago: that love is conditional, that closeness is dangerous, that vulnerability must be earned through suffering. Safety in love does not mean the absence of conflict. It means the presence of respect within it. It means that disagreements are not used to threaten abandonment or superiority. It means that anger is allowed to exist without turning into cruelty. When someone is brave with you, they trust that even in moments of tension, you will not turn against them. They believe that the connection matters more to you than winning. That belief is rare, and it is transformative. There is a particular kind of healing that happens when someone realizes they don't have to shrink to be loved. Many people learned early that being too much was dangerous. Too emotional, too quiet, too curious, too sensitive. With you, they discovered that they could take up space. That their full range of feelings did not scare you away. That you did not need them to be simpler or easier to handle. This realization invites bravery not as an act of defiance, but as a natural response to acceptance. You made love feel safe by honoring the truth even when it was uncomfortable. You did not ask them to pretend. You did not punish honesty. You created room for nuance, for changing minds, for growing out loud. In that room, bravery becomes less about forcing oneself to be open and more about finally having permission to be open. Safety turns vulnerability from a risk into a relief. Someone being brave with you is also a reflection of how you handle power. Emotional power is subtle, but it is real. When someone reveals themselves, they place power in your hands, the power to comfort or to wound, to protect or to expose. You handled that power with care. You did not use their openness as leverage. You did not collect their confessions as proof of control. You treated their inner world as something to be respected, not possessed. That choice changes everything. Love feels safe when it is allowed to be imperfect. You did not demand constant strength or positivity. You allowed bad days, quiet days, messy days. You understood that healing is not linear and that growth includes setbacks. By allowing space for imperfection, you remove the pressure to perform happiness. In that space, authenticity thrives, and authenticity is the soil in which bravery grows. When someone is brave with you, it also means they trust your consistency. They believe that who you are today will not vanish tomorrow without explanation. Consistency does not mean rigidity, it means reliability. It means your values do not shift based on convenience. It means your care does not disappear when circumstances change. This steadiness sends a powerful message: you are not alone in this moment, and you will not be abandoned for having needs. You made love feel safe by being curious rather than judgmental. You asked questions to understand, not to interrogate. You approached differences with interest instead of defensiveness. Curiosity invites expansion. It tells the other person that their inner world is worth exploring. When someone feels seen as a landscape rather than a problem, they begin to reveal more of themselves. Bravery, in this sense, is a response to being genuinely known. There is also courage in allowing someone else to see you. Safety is not one-sided. You modeled vulnerability without making it a burden. You showed that openness could coexist with boundaries. By sharing your own fears, uncertainties, and hopes, you normalized the experience of being human. You demonstrated that strength is not the absence of weakness, but the willingness to live honestly alongside it. This modeling gives permission. It says, you don't have to hide here. Love feels safe when care is not transactional. You did not keep score. You did not measure worth by usefulness. You did not offer affection only when it was returned in equal measure. This generosity creates a sense of abundance. It reassures the other person that they do not have to earn rest or tenderness. In that reassurance, bravery becomes less costly. It no longer feels like a gamble with survival. Someone being brave with you means they trust your reactions. They believe that their truth will not be met with explosive anger, cold withdrawal, or subtle punishment. Emotional safety is built in how you respond when things go wrong. You showed that mistakes could be addressed without shame. You separated behavior from identity. You criticized actions without attacking character. This distinction allows growth without fear, honesty without self-erasure. You made love feel safe by respecting timing. You did not force intimacy before it was ready. You understood that trust unfolds at its own pace. By allowing the relationship to breathe, you honored the natural rhythm of closeness. This patience communicates deep respect. It tells the other person that they are not a conquest, not a milestone, but a living, evolving human being. Safety in love also comes from predictability in kindness. Not grand gestures, but small, reliable acts of care. Remembering details. Following through on promises. Checking in without being asked. These acts create a background hum of security. Over time, that hum becomes the soundtrack of the relationship. In its presence, bravery does not feel like a leap into the unknown, but a step onto familiar ground. When someone is brave with you, they are often unlearning old patterns. They may have learned to stay silent to avoid conflict, to over-explain to prevent misunderstanding, or to detach to protect themselves. With you, they experiment with new ways of being. They speak sooner. They ask directly. They stay present. This experimentation is a form of courage that should never be taken lightly. It is evidence that your presence has altered their expectations of love. You made love feel safe by acknowledging impact, not just intent. When you hurt them, even unintentionally, you listened. You did not hide behind explanations. You validated their experience. This willingness to take responsibility without collapsing into shame builds enormous trust. It shows that the relationship matters more than your need to be seen as flawless. In that environment, honesty becomes sustainable. Love feels safe when autonomy is honored. You did not confuse closeness with control. You celebrated their independence rather than feeling threatened by it. You encouraged their growth even when it meant change. This respect for autonomy reassures the other person that love will not cost them themselves. Bravery flourishes where freedom is protected. There is a tenderness in realizing that someone's bravery is, in part, a mirror of your care. It is not about ego or ownership. It is about recognizing the quiet responsibility that comes with being a safe place. Safety must be maintained. It requires ongoing attention, humility, and willingness to repair. You understood that love is not something you achieve once and then keep by default. It is something you practice. You made love feel safe by allowing joy without suspicion. Some people are so accustomed to instability that calm feels dangerous. With you, joy did not feel like a setup for loss. You did not sabotage happiness with doubt or distance. You allowed good moments to exist fully. This permission to enjoy connection without bracing for disaster is a profound gift. When someone is brave with you, they are telling you that they trust your heart. They believe that you will hold their truth with care. This trust is earned, not demanded. It is built through alignment between who you say you are and how you behave when it matters. You showed up in moments that counted. You stayed present when emotions ran high. You chose compassion when it would have been easier to shut down. Love feels safe when communication is clear and kind. You did not rely on silence as a weapon. You did not expect mind reading. You expressed needs without accusation. You listened to theirs without defensiveness. This clarity reduces fear. It replaces guessing with understanding. In that clarity, bravery becomes a shared language rather than a solitary risk. You made love feel safe by seeing the whole person, not just the parts that benefited you. You honored their dreams even when they didn't align perfectly with yours. You acknowledged their pain without making it about yourself. This capacity to hold complexity is rare. It tells the other person that they do not have to edit themselves to remain loved. Someone being brave with you is also a testament to your emotional availability. You were not emotionally absent or unpredictable. You were reachable. You responded. You engaged. Emotional availability creates a bridge. On that bridge, vulnerability can travel without falling into silence or dismissal. Bravery walks that bridge because it knows someone will meet it halfway. You made love feel safe by allowing space for rest. You did not demand constant connection or reassurance. You trusted the bond enough to allow distance without panic. This trust communicates security. It tells the other person that love is not fragile, that it can stretch without breaking. In that security, bravery does not feel like overexposure. Love feels safe when affection is not used to manipulate. You did not withdraw warmth to enforce compliance. You did not offer love conditionally. Your affection was not a bargaining chip. This consistency allows the other person to relax into the relationship. Bravery becomes less about negotiating safety and more about sharing truth. When someone is brave with you, they are often discovering parts of themselves that were dormant. They try new expressions. They name desires they never voiced. They confront fears they avoided. Your presence acts as a catalyst. Not because you push, but because you provide a container strong enough to hold transformation. Safety is not static, it is generative. You made love feel safe by honoring endings as much as beginnings, when necessary. You treated transitions with respect. You allowed grief without minimizing it. You spoke honestly even when the truth was painful. This integrity reassures the other person that safety does not disappear when circumstances change. It deepens trust even in loss. Love feels safe when laughter is easy and silence is comfortable. You did not fill every quiet moment with anxiety. You allowed shared stillness. This ease signals deep attunement. In that stillness, bravery does not have to perform. It can simply be, someone is brave with you because you made love feel safe. This is not an accident. It is the result of choices made repeatedly, to listen, to stay, to repair, to respect. It is the quiet legacy of care. And while bravery belongs to the one who offers it, safety belongs to the one who cultivates it. In that shared space, love becomes not a test of endurance, but a place of refuge. A place where hearts do not have to armor themselves. A place where being real is not a risk, but a relief. A place where bravery is not demanded, but naturally invited, because safety has already been felt.